Yo, what up everybody? Welcome back to Fandom Frequency, where we get into the entire multiverse of pop culture, movies, TV shows, anime, horror, sci-fi, comic book movies, you name it. We talk about it around these parts. Click all those buttons below the video. It definitely is going to help the show out immensely. And much love to each and every one of you, supporters, subscribers, listeners, watchers, commenters, all of that good jazz. We've had so much great engagement with the channel lately, and it's just growing every day, slowly but surely, and it's all thanks to you beautiful people out there. So thank you so much. And if you haven't joined this wonderful community, just click the subscribe button and all that good jazz. But with no further ado, we got some big business to get into, because we are just a little over a week away from the release of my most anticipated film of the year, the next installment in the Ghostface saga, if you will, carrying on that Wes Craven legacy. We're going to NYC, baby. Scream 6 is dropping next Friday as the recording of this video, y'all. And by the time you see this, we should be roughly just about a week away. So, we got to get into the suspects.
Everybody's a suspect!
And we got to get into the main 6 suspects I have in mind that I think are either A, the most likely, or most interesting choices to be the killer or killers of Scream 6, y'all. So with no further ado, let's get right into it. Starting off here with least likely to most likely, 6 being the least, 1 being the most. For me, out of the 6 characters I came in mind, this one's a little bit of a more out there theory based on a character that is established within the lore in the last previous film, but we haven't met her in the flesh yet. Was going to be a character that was included in Scream 5, but radio silence, the creative team, writers, and directors behind the scenes decided to cut that last minute, and I'm talking about Sam and Tara's mother, Christina Carpenter, aka Billy Loomis's baby mama. And yes, that's what I'm talking about. We have not met this character on screen. This character has not even been confirmed to be in this next installment. But in my mind, I still think that this is a little bit of an out there theory, but could be a little bit of that Debbie Salt kind of flavor from Scream 2, jumping into this one, where that was a character that we essentially knew, since most people that are blessed enough to have 2 parents, we all figured that Billy was one of those people that did have 2 parents. We only met his father in the original film, no mention of his mother, and we know that his father cheated on his mother with Sidney Prescott's mom, and that's how all this crazy stuff started getting going. We're not going to get into all the Scream 3 Roman craziness there. We'll leave that for another day, but essentially with that, that's all going down, and that all plays a big role and plays a part here in my mind, because Christina Carpenter is a character that is established within this world and might have a reason for wanting to target some of these other people. Now, why would Christina Carpenter want to target her own kids, you ask? Well, she might not be targeting her own kids. We don't really necessarily know that she's trying to kill them fully. We don't necessarily know that. We know Ghostface is up in the bodega scene with the shotgun and everything from the trailer. Sam and Tara are in there. We never know exactly how that scene's going to play out, but that's why this one's more of a cuckoo, kind of more out there theory out of all the stuff that's here. All the rest of the characters on this list are characters that are confirmed to be in the film. We've seen trailer footage and or pictures of these characters, gotten character names, descriptions, something of the like. But this one was just something that I thought would be interesting to see if maybe Christina Carpenter has been involved from this stuff from Scream 5, and maybe she's been involved from this from the beginning of this new era of Scream, if you will. So you never know what could happen, but that's my number 6, Christina Carpenter. No name, no face, no actress cast in the role or anything like that, but hey, who the hell knows what they might have up their sleeve? Who knows? But we're going to roll into number 5, and this one's going to be a character that we're all very excited to see within the Scream fandom, and I'm talking about the one, the only, Kirby Reed, played by the great Hayden Panettiere. She's back up in this thing for Scream 6, and I think she is definitely one of the suspects as of this moment, because A, where the hell have you been this whole time for the last decade or so in between Scream 4 and Scream 6? Why come back now? Why not come back in the previous film when things were going on in her own hometown? Does she live in New York? A lot of fishy, suspicious things going on there. Why is she so hyper aware of this Ghostface not being the same as previous Ghostface? Apparently she's been investigating and looking into Ghostface attacks, Ghostface murders, all these things. We all know she's a horror fan, and we all know she got attacked and stabbed by Charlie in Scream 4, for those of us that are all caught up on everything. And since that went down, has Kirby potentially taken a darker turn and went down the killer route? We never know, man. Anything is entirely possible within this thing. She is a little bit on the short side, so it is going to definitely have to be a very small Ghostface. We did run into those problems with the Dewey kill scene and Amber being one of the killers in the previous film, so hopefully they're able to clean up that one aspect of it. But I think Kirby Reed is still a fairly likely contender to be potentially one of the Ghostface killers. So, going to have to throw in Kirby Reed at number 5. And now we're going to get into number 4. And this is going to be a new character introduced in this brand new film. An actor that I've just recently discovered in She-Hulk, which is a controversial show for a whole nother topic and a whole nother discussion. But I'm talking about Danny Brackett, played by Josh Segarra. And that character, we have not seen very much footage, I don't think we've seen more than maybe like a few shots of this character in any of the trailers, the main one being the subway promo and the subway scene that we all seen from the initial teaser trailer and a lot of the TV spots and what have you, posters and whatnot. We have not really seen this character of Danny Brackett in action, really doing much, interacting with most of the other characters. In fact, I don't even think we've seen one dialogue scene with him talking to any of the other characters. So that to me is very telling, how this character is just not very much in these trailers at all. And also, if it was just a small role, sure, but pretty much almost every other character, minus one or two that I'm going to talk about in just a bit here, have all had substantial moments in the trailers or in the promotion, or have posters or some kind of descriptions or something going on to where you get to dig a little bit more deep into that particular character. So I think it's very telling that you're not seeing a lot of this Danny Brackett character. You're not seeing a lot of Josh Segarra interacting with the rest of the cast. So to me, that raises a lot of red flags. And I think with him being a cop, with him being involved, maybe potentially having combat training, self-defense training, martial arts, whatever, what have you, this Ghostface looks like he can definitely handle himself in a tussle, and definitely doesn't look like he's going to be tripping all over himself. You know what I'm saying? Herself, himself, they, themselves, you know what I mean? But this Ghostface looks like they can hang with the best of them. So for me, in my own personal opinion, I think Danny Brackett is way up there on the suspect list and is coming in at number 4 on my list. So getting into the top 3 here, and this is another character we have barely seen any footage of, haven't heard a lot about them. This is definitely a brand new character that we don't know anything about and is in the same similar red flags as Danny Brackett, and I'm talking about the character of Ethan Landry, played by Jack Champion, and he's going to come in at number 3 because we have barely seen any shots of this guy. No dialogue scenes, no action scenes, no scenes of him being attacked by Ghostface, chased by Ghostface, any of that. Not a single frame of him and Ghostface in the same interaction ever. I'm telling you, something is up with this guy. We have not seen this actor of Jack Champion do anything in this movie. We haven't heard any other details about his role other than his name. To me, that is very, very, very suspicious. Now, is Radio Silence, Paramount, all the people behind the scenes on the Scream franchise doing this on purpose? I am very sure they are doing all these things on purpose to swerve us, to make us anticipate these guys, to make us circle or pick these guys out of a crowd and make us really focus on them. These could be potential already seeds laid out for red herrings. Who knows? But to me personally, he has to be way up there on the suspect list because we haven't seen this character do anything. We know nothing about him. We almost know more about freaking Samara Weaving's character of Laura more than this guy. Even Tony Revolori's character, we damn near almost know more about him just from some of the shots in the trailers alone, from him having classic movie posters and having horror memorabilia in the background of his dorm room and stuff like that. So he's obviously a film nerd, a la Randy, a la Charlie, a la, Kirby Reed style. So we know he's definitely going to be playing into that regard when it comes to Tony Revolori's character named Jason something. I forgot the last name, but y'all know what I'm talking about. So I think there's a very, very big particular reason, one way or the other, whether he's innocent, whether he's a Ghostface himself. I think Jack Champion's character of Ethan Landry is directly responsible. He is directly involved in the killing. And if you're a suspect, if I'm a suspect, that means you're a suspect. So you know what I'm saying. You get it. So we're going to be moving in here, going into number 2, and I'm talking about Detective Bailey, played by Dermot Mulroney. He is way up there on my list because I feel like there's a lot of, not evidence per se, but there's some details that definitely could point to him having some kind of likelihood of being involved in certain ways. I'm just not sure about the motive for any of these killers yet, but it all kind of depends and can vary and whatnot. And one thing here for Detective Bailey is his daughter is going to be in the film, played by, I forget her name. I'm going to flash it on the screen or something, but I forgot her name. But that character is going to be in this film, and it appears from some of the trailers that have came out through all the TV spots and some of the footage and whatnot, light spoilers ahead here, it looks like the character could potentially get got, so that might be a whole thing in and of itself. That might be something that takes place as the opening kill, might be something that took place before the movie. I don't know. Might be related to Liv's character. She's, that's a whole big tie-in to the original Scream film with Liv McKenzie being from the McKenzie family, who was the family that Casey Becker's dad told her to go down and go to the house over there to be safe, to get away from the whole Ghostface incident that went down. So we know that's going on. We know all that's in the background. So it could be connected in that way. But the way that Detective Bailey is directly involved in this thing, or at least the way that I think he could be, is because who else would have access to all that stuff that they put in that shrine that we all saw from that epic-ass moment in the trailers? How would they have access to all this memorabilia or evidence? Or this would all be criminal evidence from all the 8 or 9 previous Ghostface killers, from all these 5 killing sprees that have taken place over the past 25, 26 years. I guess you'd say 26, 27, whatever. 26 to 27 years that have gone down. How the hell did these Ghostface get access to all this stuff? It ain't gonna be just out there on the black market, you know what I mean? Just sitting out there on the dark web for somebody to buy or some shit. I don't understand how else they would get access to it unless they were involved in law enforcement, which is also why Danny Brackett is in that category as well, and why he's up here in the suspect list along with Detective Bailey. I think those two could be in cahoots, you know what I mean? I think it could be them two and Jack Champion to get some perspective into Sam Carpenter and them to kind of infiltrate the youngins, you know what I'm saying? I think that could be a whole trio thing going on. It might not even be a Ghostface, it might just be a group of Ghostface, it might just be a trio. We're doing something a little fresh and we're kind of tilting things on its head, But these guys could be some of the ringleaders or some of the potential main people leading this cult. It could all be a fucking inside job, man. There's so many different ways they can take this thing, so I can't wait to see where it goes. But Detective Bailey, Dermot Mulroney's character, is way up there, number 2 on my 6 suspects list. That's how it's going down. Number 1, the first character here, one we have not heard much about, if anything, other than the fact that he's going to be playing Sam Carpenter's therapist, Melissa Barrero's character, of course. And I'm talking about Henry Czerny's character of Dr. Christopher Stone. And he is also an actor that is one of the Radio Silence alumni, along with Samara Weaving herself, from the kick-ass film that was starring Samara Weaving. And I'm talking about Ready or Not, a film that came out about maybe 4 years ago, I think, 2019, pre-Crazy Pandemonium. Last of Us crazy shit going on. But yeah, so that's a kick-ass horror flick in and of itself right there. Horror thriller, horror comedy. Go check that out when you get a chance. But Henry Czerny played a main character in there, and they're kind of continuing using some of the same cast members in this one. And his character intrigues me the most because we've literally not seen him on screen once. Haven't heard any dialogue. Old enough to have connections to the previous Ghostface killers, or be old enough to have all the knowledge and get access maybe in different ways, and finding out how to get all this all this evidence and things that are tied to all these 5 different killing sprees that went on throughout Woodsboro into over to, I forget the name of the college from Scream 2, I'll throw that in here, and into Hollywood on Scream 3, and into NYC here in Scream 6. So how it all ties together. Henry Czerny being in his 50s or 60s, he's old enough to, him playing a character that's old enough to have been around since the original Scream and have some kind of connections or ties or knowledge of the events from back in the day, but not necessarily have to have been a character that's popped up in the films up until this point. I think that's a cool way to tie it in there, and I think there's a very, very, very key reason why this character is in there, and he definitely fits the archetype of a villain when it comes to Henry Czerny as an actor. So I am very, very intrigued to see where things are going to go with this character of Dr. Christopher Stone. But he is my number one suspect to be involved or pulling the strings with this Ghostface cult, whatever, what have you. I think Dr. Christopher Stone is a shoo-in to be a Ghostface killer, the Ghostface killer, the ringleader of the freaking cult, whatever. He is involved in these Ghostface killings. I'd almost be damn near willing to put money on it. I'm telling y'all, Dr. Christopher Stone, number one on my suspect list. He is the guy. He's going to be the one that we unmask, and he's going to be the one yelling at those meddling kids, talking about this guy right here. And I'm talking about the rest of the cast of Scream 6, coming out March 10th. Make sure you grab your tickets ASAP. I know I am. I'm going to see that thing at least twice opening weekend. I want to know who's on your suspect list. Drop your six suspects, that's almost a tongue twister, down there in the comments below. I want to hear who you guys think are the most likely characters to be one of, if not the Ghostface killer in Scream 6. Let me know what you think about it. Thank you for checking out this video. Much love to each and every one of you. The hype train to Scream 6 is starting to wind down. We got some cool ass rankings and spoiler-filled discussions to come once Scream 6 drops. So make sure you're staying tuned. You ain't sleeping on any of that goodness. And remember, everybody's a suspect. Peace.